Recording?
Yeah.
All right, we can get started. Call the Human Relations Committee to order. Our mission of the Human Relations Committee, the purpose is to create an atmosphere of inclusion, equality, and accessibility through education and outreach, to recognize the value of a diverse community. Do you have any public comments? Considering of the minutes we'll go to next. Was everybody able to review the minutes? That was at the meeting. Do you have any discussion at all from last meeting? Do you have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Tia makes a motion and a second.
I second that motion.
Betsy seconds. All in favor? Aye. Minutes approved. So, we are at our first meeting of the year, so we have appointment of members. So we have Denise, who is a new member, and then Tia, who's joined us again. So Denise, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we can go around and introduce ourselves.
I'm grateful for this opportunity. Thank you so much. I'm Denise. I'm the development director at Dreamstone Bismarck. I've had an opportunity to live all over the world. I work for Department of Defense, Homeland Security, Department of Labor. Met a lot of people from all over the world, travel. I love this committee because of what you guys do and stand for. It's really important. I'm extremely grateful for this opportunity. I have 3 growing kids. One lives in Istanbul, Turkey. We visit in May. And my husband and I have been together about 40 years, and we were away from Bismarck for about 35 years, and then my parents were diagnosed with dementia. So we moved back, and I started Bismarck Memory Cafe, which is a nonprofit I do on the side for 4 years now, helping caregivers and people that suffer from dementia. And yeah, so, and then Alzheimer's Impact Movement. I'm part of the North Dakota delegation that goes to Washington, D.C. and ask them to support our cause. And we foster dogs.
If you don't do enough, anybody.
I love dogs. I fell out there. I like the nice thing that you would try.
All right, Joan, if you want to go.
Yeah, I'm Joan Klein, and you already knows who I am. I have an architecture background, but I do that part-time now. I actually co-founded a nonprofit called the North Dakota Asian American Arts and Cultural Initiative. And we celebrate and promote Asian arts and culture, and we introduce them to the city of Bismarck and Mandan area in North Dakota. This is my second year with the Human Relations Committee.
I lived in Japan for 14 years.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful.
I'm Tia Jorgensen. I work for KFYR TV as a journalist. I'm new, serving the National Guard. I'm very active in like Bismarck Local Neighbors, Parkinson's Support Group. I forget some of the others right now. But very involved in the community, and this is my favorite organization to be a part of. So.
I'm Sergeant Anna. I am the lead operations officer at Community Options. We provide services to people with developmental disabilities and elderly. I also founded my own nonprofit, Arts for All. We give art to those in need who may not actually need it. If it wasn't for us, I'm involved in a number of communities, and this, of course, is my favorite one. And he and I host a podcast, which I love doing. So
We do that too.
yeah.
Love to hear. I mean, from our committee members, just reminding of all the incredible things we all do. I'm Katie Houle. I have lived in Bismarck for about 6 years, married into the state. I'm originally from the East Coast. My background is in clinical social work. So I'm a trained child and family therapist, but I primarily work in children's behavioral health policy work now. So I think when I think about this work and think about diversity and equity, I'm also thinking about sort of the lived experiences of young people and families, particularly with mental health and substance use issues. I have not started a nonprofit, but I have a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old, and I'll be here forever. So you're stuck with me here.
Well,
my resume is not. I'll keep mine short and sweet. I'm Betsy Czar. I have nursing background. Right now I'm a resident care coordinator, excuse me, at Prairie Point Assisted Living. This is my first committee I've ever been on that I can think of right now. And I love it. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot of great mentors here that I plan to learn more from. And I don't have a nonprofit either. However, it sounds exciting.
Sure, Joan and I would let you help her. on
Right?
And that's about it.
I am Doug Wiles. I'm the Assistant City Administrator, and we're the staff that supports the HRC. So you'll see me and Alyssa at every meeting. I'll let her introduce herself. So I've been the Assistant Administrator for a little over a year and a half now. With HRC since I started.
I'm Heather May. I'm the Community Integration Facilitator for the City of Bismarck. My position sits in public health, and my job is to help refugees integrate into the community better and kind of raise and represent their voices in places like this.
And I'm Alyssa. I've been in the administration office with the city of Bismarck for 4 years in April. And fairly new to this one. I just took it over for Whitney. So Doug, staff. So
Seeing you guys.
All right, great. So let's go on to the agenda. We'll start with the recap of the MLK event. So myself, and Katie for sure were in attendance. Whoever wants to start.
Well, I think Sergiana did a really great job. I don't know if everyone knows this, but she emceed the event. I also really appreciated the remarks from Commissioner Rich at the beginning, just sort of like acknowledging the connection between the MLK Commission and the mission of the committee. I just felt like it was a very well organized, very touching event. So I felt like it was good.
I felt, and I was there in a different capacity versus the committee, but I felt like it was one of the more organized MLK events we've been to. I really thought Brian Taylor, I thought he was a great speaker. And then Joe, Junior, his story is incredible as well. I liked having the two different choirs there for music. I thought it, other than the lighting in the church, everything went really well.
I thought it went great. I've probably been to that's my third or fourth. I think it was the best one as far as how it flowed. And Brian Taylor was an amazing speaker, and Joe McNeil is always amazing. So I thought it went well, and I think the committee did too. I'm glad that we sponsored this event. We've been sponsoring since I've been on the committee, which I believe is 4 years. Well, only to that, I think that's how long I've been on it. But I think was a very well attended event. That's probably the most people that have been there.
And I was trying to get a count, but I do know the choirs took up a significant amount, but it still looked like quite a bit. I do want to say something, like I was talking to Rissa, who was the president, and just something she said that it resonated with me. She said, it's time to do the right. Oh gosh, you guys, now I can't remember, but it's the right time to do the right thing, right? Like right now is what she said. It's the right time to do the right thing. And I thought this is applicable to our committee. So, but I thought it was super well organized.
All right, anything else about the event? Do we have any?
Nope. I will follow up on that though.
Contact anyone I'd be very
I'm gonna
sure.
trust, yeah. Thank you. Marshall, that's a good point.
Commissioner Rich Singh.
He did not sing. He did not, that I remember. He did talk for a little while longer than he did. He really got in there and did a good job. All right.
break out in song.
Oh, no, not this time.
But he was, like you said, I mean, really acknowledged this committee and the work that we do as well.
Good.
All right, so we'll move on to the next thing, and that's community events. So I'm gonna skip down to the presentation at the city commission meeting. So the city commission meeting is next week, the 27th. Katie and I will be presenting at it. And we went over already what we're gonna go over. We're gonna go over what happened at the last community conversations event, basically the feedback from it, and then possible solutions going forward. I'll present and then Katie will present. And Doug's sending in the memo that needs to be done.
It's done.
And then there will be online an agenda as far as when we're at. Usually we're at towards the beginning. I did let Renee Mock know that we are gonna be there too, because she's also gonna be talking about the triage center. So it'll be good kind of having me on the same night. That's kind of why we picked that night to go in front of the commission. So if everybody is welcome to come, it's at 5:15 downstairs, Baker Room.
January 27th.
Yes, yep.
So Denise, we can share it with you, but we wrote up a summary from the feedback from when you were on the panel, but sort of the panel discussion as well as the public input. And then we also had an online form that was open for a couple of days for people to submit concerns and recommendations for solutions. So we can send you what that is.
Okay.
In terms of,
Was it good feedback or?
so, but yeah,
There's actually quite a bit of feedback online.
Wonderful.
yeah.
And we did go through that. Usually we'll go through that in a meeting. So we went through that earlier as far as what the feedback is, but myself as well as Marabella, I think we're the two that took notes too. We had two people consistently taking notes, and then we sent them into the subcommittee for community conversations. So it's Katie, Joan, and Marabella. So we sent it into them and then they put it together, and then Katie developed the outline as far as what we're saying with that feedback that we had given them. Yes, that definitely was our best attended community conversations. I mean, the first one was very well attended. We did it for one. Our first one was on like diversity, equality, inclusion. That one was well attended, but I think this one was even better attended. All right. So I know Katie's brought up on a few occasions, and we're gonna have another discussion on it, on honorariums. I know there's been some discussion between Joan and Heather as far as what flexibility we could do as far as honorariums, since we really can't do it in our budget. So I don't know if Heather, if you want to kind of talk about that.
Sure. So at the end of one of the meetings, it was off record, I mentioned to Doug that if there was a way, if there was a grant that could be found, I could run honorariums through my position, through my grant and my position. So he checked into it. He said that that would be permitted. So we can't do anything about people who have spoken in the past, but going forward, if there's anyone on a committee or making a presentation who is a refugee or from one of our refugee groups, so any of the countries that we've resettled refugees from, I could pay them an honorarium or a speaking stipend, whatever you'd like to call it, directly out of my budget. I have a budget line for that. And then if there are others who were speaking that we would like to offer honorariums to, like those last time with lived experience who happen to be from the Native community, I'm willing to, and I started looking for grant streams. It would just need to be a small grant probably, related to welcoming communities or connected communities or diverse voices or minority voices. Anyone else has expertise in grant hunting, I would welcome that assistance
to
too.
grant development there. I have access to grants. So if you want to stay in touch with me, I can research grants.
I would love that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So I'm happy to do that going forward. When we find a grant that we would like to apply for, I just ask Renee to put it on the consent agenda. And then that gets approved. They usually get approved at the next consent agenda. And then, so that's like grant opportunities to pay honorariums. And then I was wondering if there's a potential or a permission for there to be like a donation fund. Like if there's someone in the community who wanted to sponsor us elevating those voices, they could make a donation to the HRC for that specifically.
We allow.
That's what I did.
Somebody would have to approach us and I guess state that they have a donation on the HRC and then commission would have to approve it. PD does it all the time, but it does go through the commission. Yep. HR or public health does it sometimes as well.
So before we can accept it, we'd have to go through.
It would have to be approved by the commission.
Define what sponsorship is, because I work with sponsorship. I'm sure it's different than what you're talking.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of individuals in the community, like maybe someone who's really passionately working with global neighbors or knows about my work and would like to
Just
help.
donate money. So it's not
Yeah,
like
just
putting
donate money.
On stuff or anything. It's just yeah.
A monetary donation.
It's like a church could do a collection for us, for example.
Sure.
Denise,
And
it might-
who would they approach, Doug?
Me.
You, okay.
it might be clear, but I think like a lot of the discussion after the homelessness panel was, I mean, Mark mentioned it during, but also in discussion afterwards, the committee was talking about compensating people with lived experience if they're serving on the panels. I see that being very different than someone that chooses to come up and provide public comment. We're asking them to tell their story, to sort of serve the narrative of, and you know, it comes with a level of interpersonal risk. And so, yeah, anything that we can be doing as a committee to diversify those voices and especially honor lived experience, I think is good. So.
Have you had a chance to speak at a church about what you do, or is that allowed at all for money or?
HRC has funds. It's not like we get
Okay.
$5,000 every year, but
Yeah.
we cannot just give it to people.
Yeah, I understand.
So, no, churches have not been approached saying, can you please donate to give an honorarium? City probably would not.
Allow it.
That if people want to come forward and say, hey, we have a donation we would like to give people that,
Okay.
you know, have a lived experience that are presenting at these, probably figure out a way to do that. Like I said, commission would have to approve the donation and what specifically it is for. But it wouldn't be a donation to the HRC, just blank. It would be
Okay.
for a specific purpose.
I think there are a lot of people in the community who would support what you're saying.
You think they would?
I think there's a lot of people in the community that would support what you're saying.
I think so too. I actually went to the site, to your site to see if there happened to be a donate button. Like,
No.
not knowing, I just thought, oh, this seems like something that would make sense. But there's actually no like donate button that I can find related to the city for anything, so.
Maybe an organization, just an idea, could, yes, administer this portion if they felt like there were a community conversation forum where we had several people with lived experiences, the organization could just approach those individuals individually or directly and say, hey, because you did this, because you had the courage to share this experience, we would like to support you in this. And
And
that
that
is,
would take the city out of it completely and the city commission off of
that would
it.
take the city out of it.
You picked really good people. I still remember the conversation vividly.
Yep.
It was so good. And it really touched my heart. And it was really personal. I think that was why, and I could watch people's faces. So it was really, I love the idea of giving.
We got feedback from Sacred Pipe that, you know, like it's hard for people to choose to come up, especially when they felt like they haven't seen the response or feelings of reciprocity from the city as well. And so that does make a lot of sense though, of maybe taking the city out of that in a way. But I also think it makes a strong statement if the city is involved in honoring that as well, but yeah. And I think we have to be careful in our community conversations, I think, like making sure we're not tokenizing or there's only one person with lived experience and so on. So that's just an evolving process, something that we're learning about as we put these forward.
I think we've learned a lot about that type of thing over the past, how many we've done 4 or 5. And it's important to have the voices of it, people
Yeah.
that it affects.
Yeah.
It is also important to have people that are subject matter experts, but in my mind, more personal, it's the people that it actually impacts. So that's why we try to look like logistically of what would work best for the population, the topic that we're covering as well. Yeah.
How many do you offer per year?
We try to do one a quarter, but what we're running into is finding spaces that are at no cost is our issue right now, because we were looking at having one in April, but the date we were looking at, the library was full. I contacted Billy from the Dream Center, or Billy, right? Bobby from the Dream Center, and I guess you guys don't have space after a certain time, and ours would have to be like till the evening.
Well, I'm working there, so I could cover it.
Okay, is what she had said.
Yes,
And I'm like, maybe we should just talk to him.
that's not a problem.
So-
I can get it open.
Because we thought that was a very good location
It is
for,
really good.
something-
It fits so nice upstairs, so.
Yeah.
If it's open.
Yeah.
Is that why you voted me on the committee?
no. That was the mayor.
The mayor appointed you.
I'm teasing, but no, I absolutely can help with that.
So the mayor appoints you and then the city commission votes on it.
I
That's how it
just sort of
works.
see.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, we can pick a date and then I can check the calendar and I can see if anything's going on and if it's open, I'll reserve it.
Okay. Awesome. I figured you might have a little bit of a pull.
Have a little bit of-
I was going the correct route. So how you're supposed to do it. Because-
She didn't say anything to me. I was
Yeah.
surprised. but-
But the Town Baker room, I mean, the issue in my mind with the Town Baker room is people think then it's official city business. And they come there like they think they're upset about something. So I actually think that's why we have more people than we
Spot
have.
on, it's
Yeah.
spot on. But it's so.
I mean, but we clearly advertise what it's about and what the conversation is about. And Keelan from the city, who helps us do all the communication stuff, does a great job. And did a really great job, I think, on the homelessness one. So just people really weren't paying that much attention, I don't think.
Should we give her the date that we were looking at?
Well, we need to have a different conversation
Yeah.
with something else that just came forward today that Katie and I saw.
Oh,
But it is about a community conversation. So Katie, if you want to explain.
Well, I saw, this is just an idea, but I saw on Bismarck Public Schools, I'm gonna pull it up, sorry. They have a community pitch-a-palooza. This is where community project pitch, whether it's designing a solution, launching a campaign, or developing a service for your organization, students will work together to help make your organization better. So it's a way to sort of pitch and receive help from a group of students in Bismarck Public Schools. And so Sergiana and I were texting back and forth. I was like, wouldn't it be cool to do a community conversation with youth? Like for youth, with youth, focus on issues that you care about.
mhm.
And I was like, could we do one of our community conversations this year and pitch it to Bismarck Public Schools and our subcommittee? Obviously support it, but plan it alongside Bismarck Public School students. I think it would be pretty cool to try.
So what Empowered is it's through the Career and Technical Academy for Bismarck Public Schools. And actually, a few years ago, one of the girls took on our project and it was to design our new logo. So this logo is actually somebody that came out, a girl that came out of that program. So now what they're looking for, and I think this is the first year they've done this, is for people to come, you just have to basically fill out a quick Google Doc. And all they're asking you is basically who you are and what your project is that you want them. And then on the 29th at 9 a.m., you come and talk to the students about it. And they decide if they're going to use it as their project or not. And then they have to have it done by the spring. So we were looking for a spring community conversation is what we were already looking for. And then they get graded on this project. So the girl chose to do her project on her own, but I believe they can do it in groups as well. Is how it would work. But Kitty and I have already looked at our schedules and we both are available that morning, and anybody else who would like to come too. But we just have to, it's next week on Thursday at 9 a.m. But we have to have a discussion if that's what we want to do going forward. Because that would then look at moving our actual community conversations probably out further if they do accept this project. What is everyone's thoughts?
And what was the other community
So let's
conversation?
do a second one.
Oh, okay.
So if we pitch it to, so it would just be a community conversation forum, overall, kind of what youth are seeing in our.
We'd probably work with that project group to figure out, is there gonna be a theme or is it something that, like, is it something that they target? But trying to cultivate an opportunity for youth to drive that conversation, I think would be,
So like challenges you face? That would-
They could definitely be on the panel, but if they wanted us to bring in other people, we could help them find other people as well to be on the panel.
Can I share something real quick? We worked with the youth when I was in Japan with the military. And we, to help them out, what was happening and going on with the schools and stuff. So we gave just everyone, every youth a piece of paper. And just had to write down without their name, what's a challenge that one of your friends comes to you. That happens. You don't write your name, just what's the challenge? And then we had them make them into paper airplanes and then throw them all over the room. And then we got them and the kids each read them and they were so powerful. And then we broke down in groups with mentors and figured like, how would you help one of your classmates if they came up and they mentioned this to you? We involved them in that way, but we really got what's really happening because they didn't have to put their name on it. They didn't have to use their voice and it was really, really cool. We gave them pizza they loved. But I don't know if that's something you were looking at, but I don't know what you're.
Are you looking at like the same sort of community conversation forum like we have, just?
Oh,
it's just led by youth.
Yeah.
Help the committee helping,
Yeah.
like, partnering with
Facilitate it,
to facilitate it.
youth led, youth on the panel.
And youth driven, right?
Yes.
Because they need to pick the topic.
With guardrails.
Yes.
It has to be a topic that'll affect the city.
Right,
With
right,
guardrails.
yes.
Okay, that's easy.
I think been on the committee long enough and we would know kind of what the guardrails are. Of course, we'd have to run it by just to make sure.
Yeah.
But all we're looking for, first of all, is the pitch. They may not even choose us.
Yeah.
But that's already next week. Like Katie and I both saw it today, and I think there's a reason for that.
That's a good idea to involve the youth and it's something different. To really try.
In the past, we've actually talked about, like, I think last time, like 3 years ago, we had talked about actually having a youth human relations committee.
Mm.
So, I mean, this could look at maybe empowering people from there, go forward too, or start their own. Doesn't even have to be through the city, start their own. Because youth are going through a lot.
Yeah, I love it.
Where's the meeting?
No, I looked at it so quick.
I see it.
To find it.
So it's Thursday, the 29th.
Yeah.
In the evening or?
No, it's at 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
I can join you. Thanks.
I don't think we need a lot of people there. By no means does everyone need to go, but you're on the committee as well, so,
Should get.
yeah.
It's a committee.
So-
At the Bismarck Public Schools Career Academy.
Okay, so that's on BSC's campus.
So then, do we approach them? Have you guys looked at the
Categories.
description of project proposal? So are you gonna leave that fairly open, like?
Peter, I will just type, well, hopefully Katie, we'll just type that up tonight. And they're still accepting, even though it says it was done on the 16th, they're still accepting, I asked. So, and then we can just kind of talk about the ones that we've done in the past and then we're looking at a youth-led one going forward. The next community conversations we had and what assistance we would help them with.
It's a fantastic idea.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely fantastic.
It aligns with our mission well in terms of just like outreach and education too, of like just the idea of working with a group of young people just in terms of engagement with the city and those lines of communication to the commission.
Giving them a voice shows that we care as a community is really.
Yeah.
We actually used to do, before I came on this committee, they did something with, I think it was Legacy High School. where they would have someone who was on the committee who knew a lot about cooking, and she would come in and do a cooking class on whatever ethnicity. Like there was one time, maybe it was Guatemalan food or something, and they would come in, teach them, and then the students would make a meal, and then invite people, they certificates, and then they would dispense that money to the school. But yeah, so we did something with the youth back then, right before it started. So this is a different thing that we can do to engage the youth, which we haven't really done a lot of since I've been on the committee. Anybody have any concerns?
Is it junior high level you said, or is it high school?
High school,
And it's all the high schools because it's public school.
it's at Career Academy, so I think all of them can sign up for Empower. Really good program. I wish they had it in a really small town, so.
And in terms of timeline, are we thinking like April, May?
I think they have to have it done by the end of the school year, so I think we'd have to have the event in April, which we were going to anyways.
Right.
So that's when our next community conversation would be. So I'm assuming when we meet with them, they'll kind of go over timelines and how long until they let us know if they're gonna accept it or not. And I'm assuming by the next meeting, we'll know if they accepted it or not, and then we can go forward with planning that, or planning a conversation we're already gonna have.
Do you think we should have those dates and backup plan in place to move forward with that community conversation on homelessness? The other dynamic that I could see is there any possibility during or after that commission meeting, the commission is going to want us to do another community conversation on homelessness, or?
Haven't heard anything, there's a possibility, yes, that on the feedback that we need more. Yes, they could give that direction.
I don't know if they give timelines, like you need to do it next, because we could still do it
Yeah,
after that one.
yeah.
We move forward with the triage center, there's gonna be ample time to get more feedback.
Would the youth one be based, since we have about 400 homeless kids right now in Bismarck, Mandan? Would the youth one be focused on youth homeless?
They will have to pick,
Oh, they
yeah, they
Yeah,
have to
the
pick their
youth will get to
topic.
pick.
And it depend on the group that's probably
Okay.
doing it, whether they feel like it's.
You can suggest it, but,
It's a good thing, but
right, yeah, they would have to drive it.
One thing I just, when I tried to find it, AI pulled up so the pitches should include, kind of like a real world problem or an idea. Where the students could then take on these project-based learning opportunities. So I don't know if we need to be a little bit more like not so generalized, but one thing it does say is encouraging practical skill building. So even if it's kind of loose, like they could engage then with city committees, the city commission. I mean, like that's getting that type of experience at a young age.
They're gonna be doing
Reading
event planning and program planning and
Absolutely.
marketing. And
Yeah,
well, yeah,
leadership.
leadership, yeah.
There's a lot of skills they can learn from this.
Maybe we need to list those.
For the time.
Do an initial like rate up. Because when we have to do that right away, do we have to put all of that detail?
It just says what is the project about, and then we meet with them, so I think they meet with everyone. So I think during the presentation, we can be a lot more specific, like are the things that you can gain from doing this project.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming they don't have a lot because they're extending the deadline. So I'm assuming they're looking for more. Because the deadline was on Friday, it's now Tuesday.
Okay.
So
Didn't even hear about it. How did you guys hear?
I just quickly,
I just saw it on Facebook.
that's what I saw. Came across mine too, and I went on there for like a second to check something, and I'm like, and Katie had texted me. Right after that, I'm like, this is so weird. I just read that. And I never even thought about it for HRC. I actually thought about it for something else, but it's perfect for HRC actually. So thank you, Katie. So do you think that we need to do a backup, or can we wait for a backup plan with dates and stuff till the
Quickly
next
will we
meeting?
choose? How quickly
I have no idea. I think before the next meeting, we can ask them that. But they have to start the project, so you think they wanted to choose it as soon as possible.
Can we ask it on Thursday?
You guys have, I mean, for that specific topic of homelessness, if that's the fallback, you have so much of that pre-work already done, so.
Yeah.
I think if you wait till next meeting, it'll be okay.
Okay. Especially since Denise can maybe hook us up with a place.
Can we give her?
That
the-
was
That's
the-
our
date?
biggest issue.
It was April 14th. You check. As a backup,
No, I think I had.
was it
I
the
can't
14th?
remember, yeah.
Yes.
I know it was being used for ARP tax aid up to, I think that's the last day for them being there.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
probably is
14th or
the next
something
day.
that
so-
night.
Oh,
Yeah, so like for
Yeah.
3 months, we have. You get your taxes done for free.
No. All right, anything else? What community conversations? All right, so humanitarian of the year criteria. So at last meeting, we talked a little bit about maybe expanding as far as the humanitarian of the year, what the criteria is. I did go online and look at the applications, just that one question that we went over last time, that they asked basically why this person should be nominated for this. So we were looking at, because a lot of the people that nominated may not fit the criteria. However, every definition that I look up for humanitarian, it's basically a lot of the same things. Stands up for human rights, promotes fairness and inclusion, promotes marginalized populations, all of those. And the name of the word is humanitarian of the year. So I'm wondering if we just need to ask like more than one question as far as it goes. So some of the things I was thinking of, like, how has their work impacted the community? So in that they can specifically talk about like maybe they serve marginalized populations or something like that. So then you can look at, yes, they're humanitarian through that. Or something to the effect where how has this nominees educated others on human rights? Could be something. So they might not specifically be doing something, but maybe they're educating other people. Or how has this person advocated for fairness and protected those who are overlooked or marginalized? Those, I think, are all questions we could ask that would gain more than us just asking the question of why this person is deserving of this award. Do you have any thoughts? What you're thinking?
No, I mean, one of the things I was thinking from last time is, I do think I don't want to move too far away from our mission. And I do think, right, that we have to be mindful of sensitivities around certain words, but at the heart of it is we need to stand true and strong to our mission. But I do agree with you, Sergiana, that we need to ask clarifying questions that challenge the nominator to tell us specifically. Because last time, just so you know, Denise, we got a lot of applications, which was great, but it was actually hard to it was hard to score between people because things weren't detailed or it wasn't always clear. Not only how this person is a good person, but what are the specific things that they have done. To me, there's something about humanitarian of the year to me that is also someone that has demonstrated this over time. You know what I mean? Like, and so I don't know if there's anything part of that question. It could just be impacts in the community, but I also feel like we're honoring people that have demonstrated a commitment to our community and have impacted change over time. But that's just semantics or language. So.
The nominees work ongoing? If yes, how is it sustained or grown over time? I do think, and you probably, however reported, but like, how does their work, yes, specifically relate to this mission? Like that.
How many questions do you think we want to do? I know we want to expand the questions, but I want to do like a ton either.
I think at most 3.
Can you read yours again quickly?
Wrote down the ton, I don't remember which ones I asked. How has their work impacted the community? How does this person advocate for fairness and protect those who are overlooked or marginalized? And how has the nominee educated others about human rights? Or We could ask, what specific actions has the nominee taken that demonstrate humanitarian impact? It's very
Yeah.
specific.
And you say applications will be most fully considered if they address the following.
I think it does say it
Put
in
them all,
there.
does it?
I think it does, because I think I was
Okay.
reading it and it does say something, I think underneath there.
I guess my point is like, they might not do all of those. So if you list if you list all of them, then people feel obligated to answer all of them. But if you just put in one paragraph, consider the following when answering, they'll pick the ones that apply
Mhm.
and ignore the ones that don't.
I do like the word sustainability.
How could we word that? What did you say?
Sorry.
Oh, what, Doug?
I just did a AI search of what we're looking for and it spit out a few things to consider. One is measurable impact, and its nominees must demonstrate significant quantifiable contributions to alleviating human suffering or improving the quality of life for underserved populations. Second one was service above and beyond. Selection committees prioritize work that exceeds the nominee's professional responsibilities. Service must typically be voluntary and uncompensated. The next one was long-term commitment. Many awards require a record of sustained achievement rather than a single event. Sustainability and legacy. A strong nominee establishes programs or systems that provide ongoing value to the community after the direct involvement ends. The last one was personal integrity and altruism. Candidates are judged on their exhibition of moral decencies, including integrity, courage, and lack of self-interest regarding personal or organizational gain. There's a lot there, but it seems like there's measurable things, or at least things to consider. You could create categories for, and then develop a matrix off of stuff like that. That's just
Yeah, so just similar to that, I really like that one, is the nominee's work ongoing? If yes, how is it sustained or grown over time? I do like, how has the nominee shown leadership in advancing understanding, respect, or inclusion in the community? Because if we use the word educate, I think sometimes people feel like that's a very limited, where if we it up a little bit more to like encourage understanding or supported something like that too, but.
Then also, I like what you said about them not being paid. So it's not a job that is.
But we do have an organization, some organizations are paid employees, so we would have to have a separate one.
So is that a humanitarian?
Is that not turn if you're getting paid to do it?
But one of the, is for a business organization.
Yeah, let it.
Oh, so that's a separate
Yep,
award?
there's
Oh,
three.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
but, okay,
Unless you do the business one now separate.
yeah.
Like if you have a separate application for the business one and separate for youth, and I think some of these ones are gonna be hard for the youth one.
Yeah.
We already had issues getting youth. Youth was our first year last year. We were very good nominations. We only got 2 nominations. So I don't know if we do 3 separate ones. I don't know.
Be terrible to have 3 different forms. We talked to Kaylin about it. I don't know what, I can say that and then not know the answer.
But
But
if we're asking these questions, where the business one's gonna have to be different.
I guess being more in depth on what you're asking definitely gets us out of that situation where we were in last year, struggling to select.
Yeah.
Or like to, as an organization, like, I think it's kind of easier, like, I don't know if it has to be as in-depth, because we all, the Dream Center one, we all kind of have a good understanding what they do, Youth Works. I don't know if it
I think you still want to, the more we can have a
specifies.
metric for it, the less anything is gonna get called into question. Or if it does get called into question, you're like, well, here's the scoring for it. Always for us to,
Especially with how many nominations we had last year.
Yeah.
The organization and for the adult one. So what do we want to do? Do we want to do like some type of subcommittee for this? Because this is probably gonna take longer than a meeting.
That's what I was actually thinking. Like, I was thinking over the next 4 to 5 months, there's committee conversations, a humanitarian of the year. That's gonna take a big bulk of work. So I think I would propose that we have two subcommittees, one for community conversation, especially if there's BPS, right? So if BPS is involved, we need a committee of people that can probably meet during the day with students. And then humanitarian of the year, because it's not only changing that criteria and helping to do the communications, marketing and outreach, but there's also that component of how we scored them last year, which was the,
So I'm wondering then, so there was the volunteer one, but I mean, we can merge that too. So I'm wondering if you two would want to do the humanitarian year award one and then just have another person go on with you guys.
I would be okay with that. The volunteer subcommittee, I honestly think if we had 2 or 3 more, like, we had really great ideas, but there was some concerns about just with staff, like staff switches and then whether I would still be on the committee. I think if we met 1 or 2 more times, we could present something where then that could probably not be a whole lot, but I would 100% be on board for the humanitarian of the year committee.
And Denise, would you want to be on that one? Okay.
Whatever you need me on, I'll do.
And I can help with community conversations when I haven't been a subcommittee, but because I could probably have a very flexible schedule if we would need to meet, so I could be on that one. Maribella's on that and Joan's on that one too. So I would say then if we can meet both committees before the next meeting and bring back information, especially the humanitarian of the year one.
On humanitarian of the year subcommittee, it's Denise, Tia.
That's me.
Okay.
I mean, if we have feedback for questions, we can always let them know too. Because I think we should have a question regarding sustainability. I do agree on that. Anything else as far as that conversation? So I would say we come back next time and then we discuss then what questions we want to ask. And Doug, you can get us the information then if it's feasible for us to have 3 separate ones.
So the 3 separate ones would be the individual.
We have youth, adult, business or nonprofit.
Okay,
we just started doing a youth one last year.
love it, absolutely love it. Is the youth involved?
Maybe some of those youth that might.
Right now, it's just a staying form, it's like 3.
Oh, that's why.
So if we're going to have different
Well,
criteria.
how great would it be to have something to help us develop
Marketing outreach,
Yes.
identifying.
business? Yeah.
Send me keywords you
They
need.
can do all the legwork.
I search for grants all the time. Yeah.
Distribute it to their classmates.
Yeah.
But it
But
doesn't,
also it encourages them to have those conversations, like, why are you doing it?
and your email just for.
Especially as we're getting older, by the time our people need to be involved in doing things. So I have to see.
Them to recognize that
Yeah.
within their group, in their circle, yeah.
Or any other discussion on that?
I will just, I think, I could help and or just share what I did for the humanitarian of the year last year, because remember I did that scoring form. So I'll share that with you guys and then some of the like the communication stuff. I've been trying to do a better job. I think we need to work on that as a committee, just in terms of like documents, templates, like that type of thing for, you know,
I think we need that. I know we've gone forward with templates for the community conversations. I think that needs to keep going forward.
Yeah.
We're not reworking things. We don't need to.
yeah. So something to maybe think about in our subcommittees is like, how can we template it out this year so that we can be repeating? Because we know the conversations humanitarian of the year are gonna be.
You guys use Google so we could share Google Docs?
We can't share, right?
Can we share Google
You
Docs?
can do Google Docs amongst yourselves, but we're not going to be able to
Okay.
do that.
So if you just want to put all the templates on Google Docs.
Or even if there's the whole committee, it's.
We just can't have conversations all of us back. and
We're not going to put it on SharePoint because we use SharePoint for everything. That's how we
So it'd just be for us working,
You guys could
and
create
look at it.
Google Docs.
Like if I drafted like a news release or something like that, I could email the whole group and be like, add comments or edit. Okay.
You can do it in your subcommittee. Yeah, we gotta avoid.
Yeah.
All these rules. So your subcommittee is fine, to do that, but amongst the entire. One, two, thank you, Melissa.
Is there a number of people?
Yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4.
And it
That makes it 4. 4 is a quorum.
Because technically Sargiana's the chair, should have access to both
Yeah.
subcommittees.
But if
That's
it's,
a great quorum.
If it's just if it's just a drop, like if it's just a Dropbox.
Like Google Docs, so let's say, yeah, I come up with a template for the individual one that I want to share, just so they can look at it, make comments on it, so when we meet, it's done, that's.
Subcommittee can do that, because I mean, technically, if you're communicating back and forth, it's more than just information sharing.
Yeah, but the subcommittee,
The subcommittee can do that.
okay, that'll work.
Okay,
entire
subcommittee do
committee.
it if There's 4 of us on it.
Are there 4?
There's 3, I know.
Would there be?
Sargiana, you're gonna, as the chair, I would say that you aren't on the subcommittee.
it's not in the subcommittee?
Well, this is probably my last meeting as the chair, so.
That's my next question. Katie won't have to be on the subcommittee. We do need to be careful of that.
Well, we could just not drop it then, the one that's 4, like.
But Betsy and, we could,
Yeah,
just
we
3 of
could.
us and sharing templates we're working on and stuff.
Yes.
Perfect.
What if she's only like CC? She's not.
If she is, you can share information.
Okay.
She can be BC'd on an email to receive information, but to contribute to the conversation.
You can't.
She, yeah.
Okay.
It's avoidable.
Okay.
So I think it'd be easier, like, for example, I'll just do what I need to do, but maybe whoever is the head of our committee could be the one. Is that what I said?
I think for like the committee of 3,
Committee
you
rules.
create it and then designate a person.
To communicate with everybody.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have a Google photo for the committee that album, but I only share it with her, and that's for the annual report, so she needs the full photos. Yeah.
So all we do is just build a Google Doc folder with our 3 names on it, and then whatever you want to share, say, you can work on our stuff.
And if she can't communicate back to us right away, she could always save her questions for when we meet.
Or you send it to one of you, that's not important.
Yeah, it's only one person.
But I think it's a
But then
big,
you can share with us,
subcommittee needs to have a designated like leader, someone that is corresponding with Sargiana.
Sargiana.
Yeah.
Avoid 4 people in the group chat.
Okay.
Okay, so we're good,
We're safe.
we can talk
You're
about.
finding the loops?
Okay, so
Sorry.
then, are we doing a vote tonight, or do we wait till the next meeting? Vote on, moving on to other business, a vote on.
Do it tonight. Doesn't,
Do we wait, Marabella's not here?
somebody may not be here the next meeting.
Yeah.
Also, unless you're nominating Marabella for vice, then.
So is everybody okay with doing the elections for tonight for chair and vice chair? Great. So, I can't remember how we do this.
Nominations.
Okay, do I have any nominations for chair?
We can self-nominate.
You nominate the same person.
If that individual wants, you can nominate them, they can say, no, thank you.
Can I nominate? Or no? I nominate Katie
Or
for chair.
So before we continue on, are you interested in still being chair or vice chair?
I'd rather be vice chair.
And Katie, are you interested?
I would be interested in being chair or vice chair. I also appreciate sort of being a workhorse, so just to be transparent, I've always admired, Sargiana just has like such a good global view that I'm worried that I don't have that, but that's why we're a team. So I would accept the chair position, but I also would be really willing to support any of us in that position. to get our mission done, so.
Has anyone spoken to Mirabella to know if she has any interest in?
She keeps on saying she's still learning whenever I talk to her. So I'm not exactly sure if she would want something.
So I would nominate Joan for either position. Can I nominate, I think it's good to get fresh view in there. Okay, so first, who do we have on the floor for nominated for chair right now?
Sergiana nominated.
Yeah.
So I would nominate Joan for vice chair.
Something you want, Joan?
Sure.
So I nominate Katie for chair and Joan for vice chair.
Was that a second
It
then?
would be a second,
Yeah.
so you would need to do two individual seconds. I would second the nomination.
Well,
Or-
okay, I second that nomination for Katie being chair and Joan being vice chair.
Okay. And you second the motion.
And I second the motion.
Any other discussion?
Let's do one at a time. So the-
Voting? Okay, so everybody just goes around and say if they agree. Forever since I've done this.
All in favor, say aye.
Okay,
Or you can raise your hand, all in
Is
favor.
it just for a year? I'm just curious how long.
Yeah.
So 1 year.
Okay.
okay, so we'll start with Katie, raise hands. So all in favor of Katie being the chair, please raise your hand.
Carries.
Motion carries. And all in favor of Joan being the vice chair, raise your hand. Motion carries. All right, any other business?
Just that our podcast hit 25,000 by the end of last year.
Oh, that's wonderful. Congratulations.
20th of December.
Yes,
What's the name of your podcast? I'll start listening to it.
these are your neighbors.
There was just on it. Good job, learned a lot about Heather.
Yes.
All right, anything else we need to discuss?
Is it okay to talk about permaculture series? And then, so our next one is Malaysia. We're done with the Bismarck ones. So we have Malaysia, Mongolia, and Thailand coming up. I will send these flyers to Melissa. And then also we have our big cultural expo in May, and that would be at the Babendick Center, at the NEC building at BSC. May 30th, that would be it, and it would be great if Arts for All or the Human Relations Committee would have a table.
So when is the Malaysia one?
It's February 5th, so in 2 weeks.
With the other,
Mongolia in March 5th and Thailand in April 16th.
Don't you have a Lunar New Year one?
I'm sorry?
A Lunar New Year one?
Yes, and so we partner with Winterfest in the city of Bismarck, and they have this Winterfest event, and they partner with all the organizations in the city. And so we have a schedule of events for Lunar New Year. We have an immersive story time for little kids, February 11th at the Morton Mandan Library. We have a Lunar New Year kickoff at the Bismarck Library, February 15th. And since Lunar New Year is 15 days, we're not gonna do all 15 days. So we're just gonna do a beginning and ending celebration. And so the ending celebration is in Mandan on February 19th. Yeah. Yes, I'm exhausted reading it.
Tearing yourself out.
Right.
All right, anything else?
I just want to express our gratitude to Sergiana.
Yes.
For being an amazing chair. You're a great community leader and we're lucky to have you.
Lucky to be with you still.
She's still here for resource, right?
Still trying to talk about you, except the time of the committee, but turns. Anything else?
When does your turn on?
Is
About 2
the
years.
second award, is it, it's either a business or a nonprofit that gets it, or is it one of
is
the?
this nonprofit correct?
Yeah, it's just one, just this one.
Either business or a nonprofit, but it's the same questions.
Yep.
Okay.
And then.
We can adjourn. So